So this one, super random, came across my radar. Nothing like a text message to break my rhythm. But this is actually book 2 in a series. So we met, help me. Will its dark secrets finally be revealed? Let's try that again. Let's do that one over. And it says that Hannah, or no, and I don't want to mislead anybody, but I'm gonna put down the information I have. Oh my God, stop talking. Shut up. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse and welcome to July's new releases. I'm being dramatic, July's new releases. How are we already here? How am I already filming another one of these videos? Time is going so fast. And like I talked about in June, as the summer progresses, it's just like more books by more of my favorite authors are coming out. So I have like so many books to talk about. And a few things I just wanted to mention out of the gate. One, as I was looking up some of these books, now as I'm getting ready to film, and mind you, I have had a list I started at the beginning of the year. I check it at least monthly when I'm doing these videos, and then I check it in between as more books and dates and things are coming out. They are constantly moving targets, it seems like, so dates are shifting on me. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna put down below what I'm finding as of the moment I'm filming this video, and also want to be mindful of the fact that like some books come out in the UK before they come out in the US and vice versa. So I'm trying not to repeat myself from past months, but there might be a little bit of deja vu for any of you guys who watch these all the time because dates are moving and different countries have different release dates, and maybe there's some I just want to talk about a whole bunch. So anyway, let's dive into books that are coming out in June. And when I say books that are coming out in June, what I really mean is books that are coming out in July, because we're here to talk about July book releases. So let's try that again. Let's talk about books that are coming out in July. July 1st. The first book I have is Bookends, a memoir of love, loss, and literature by Zibby Owens. So she is the host of Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books, which is one of the podcasts that I absolutely love. And I actually was able to snag this book from Amazon First Reads. I haven't read it yet, but when I heard she was writing a book, I was instantly intrigued. And then when I saw it was like a Prime First Reads offering, I was like, done, no questions asked. So this is a memoir that she wrote, and it says it's about one woman's journey to finding her voice and rewriting her story. So she is such a great podcaster. She has the best interviews. She gets some of the best people on there. I feel like I started listening to this podcast a few years ago, and the growth and trajectory she has had over the years through amazing amounts of hard work and commitment and just full throttle putting herself into it is just one of the people where like how great to see the rise that she's been on and all the success that she's had. And she is just so like excited about authors and excited to talk about them. And I just love the energy she has around that and just her like sheer enthusiasm and love of books. I just think, it's amazing. So it says, after losing her closest friend on 9/11 and later becoming utterly stressed out and overwhelmed by motherhood, Zibby was forgetting what made her her. She turned to books and writing for help. Just when things seemed particularly bleak, Zibby unexpectedly fell in love with a tennis pro turned movie producer who showed her the path to happiness, away from type A perfectionism and toward, quote, letting things unfold organically. What unfolded was a meaningful career, a great love, and finally her voice, now heard by millions of listeners. An honest and moving story about relationships, love, food issues, the writing life, and finding one's true calling. Bookends will inspire and uplift. So, I just got the chills when I read that. I have no doubt that this is going to be a very moving book. Like I said, her podcast is great. She infuses it with so much of herself and her personal experience. I love her vulnerability and her transparency. And again, these super engaging conversations she has. So I will link the podcast down below also if you guys aren't listening to it, but I think this is gonna just be a great one. I've definitely been craving some nonfiction lately. So I talked about the J.C. Dupree book, Liking Myself Back, which I have, but haven't started reading it yet. But just sort of these books about women who are struggling and transparent about it and have gone through hard times and who have come out on the other side and have this reflection. But I feel like there's so much to learn and so much to just relate to in a lot of these stories. So starting here, I'm very excited for it. July 7th. The first book I have is The Cabin in the Woods by Sarah Alderson. So this one comes out in the UK first. It'll be out in the US in October at some stage. But I very much enjoyed Friends Like These. I had to take a quick look to see the name of the book by Sarah Alderson. She also wrote The Weekend Away, which I have and want to read, and that's a Netflix show. But to me, her books are just super compulsive. They're like books you can read in a weekend. Speaking just for Friends Like These, I love her dark, twisted female friendship. So this one has kind of like a super cryptic little blurb on it, which kind of makes me more intrigued. So I'm just gonna read it exactly as is. And it just says, in a cabin in a wood, a woman by the window stood. Glancing out, she thought she heard footsteps whistling, something stirred. Hiding here, she fears the night, for what's done in the dark will come to light. She must run fast to escape her lie, or she'll be the next to die. So I don't know if it's like an and then there were none kind of a vibe. I don't know if she's alone in the woods. I don't know what she's doing in her cabin in the woods, but I'm super intrigued. And like I said, and it's like very cryptic information around it, but it just sounds really, really intriguing to me. I don't know. I love an isolated setting. I love murder. I very much enjoyed her writing in Friends Like These, so I am definitely antenna up, super curious about this book, so mark in my calendar. July 12th. So definitely one of my most anticipated books of the year is The It Girl by Ruth Ware. So I pre-ordered this in the UK and it actually comes out in August there, but it comes out in July in the US. So Ruth Ware did not put out a book in 2021, so I am like extra chomping at the bit for this one. And this one is definitely giving me kind of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife vibes, and also is giving me a little bit of In a Dark, Dark Wood, Ruth Ware's first book vibes, which is my favorite of her books, and I have read them all. So I'm definitely like super amped up for this one. This one takes place at Oxford, and this is about a woman named Hannah, and she is on the search for answers a decade after her friend's murder. So April was the first person that Hannah met when she was at Oxford. And it says that April was vivacious, bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl. And she pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. So it also sounds like The Girls Are Also Nice Here by Laurie Elizabeth Flynn. Like all these things I love in a book. So it says, together they developed a group of devoted and inseparable friends, Will, Hugh, Ryan, and Emily, during their first term at Oxford. By the end of the second term, April was dead. So now, a decade later, Hannah and Will are expecting their first child, and the man convicted of killing April, a former Oxford porter, John Neville, has died in prison. So it says, relieved to finally put the past behind her, Hannah's world is rocked when a young journalist comes knocking and presents new evidence that Neville might have been innocent. As Hannah reconnects with old friends and delves deeper into the mystery of April's death, she realizes that the friends she thought she knew all have something to hide, including a murder. So this is giving me everything I love in a book. We have dark and twisted friendships. We have that dark academia vibe, mystery in the past, mystery in the present. What I love about this one is like somebody was convicted and looks like it was the wrong person, rather than the mystery went unsolved. So it was solved. So everyone was kind of like, whew, we can move on with our lives. But then knock, knock, knock. Here comes the journalist who's like, nope, don't think so. I've got something you need to take a look at. So I am a mega fan of Ruth Ware. I just think she's so great. I love her characters. I love her stories. I gobble them up compulsively, and I am really, 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 really excited for this one. So I realized by ordering the UK version, I'm gonna have to wait a month, but life will go on. But I loved I will pop it up, the black and white with the hot pink cover of the UK. Did I cover buy this one? Yes, I hemmed and hawed. If anybody really wants to hear about it, ask Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, who had to listen to me debate this for way too long, but I ultimately picked the UK cover because I just love it. So anyway, I will let you guys know when I do read it, but this one is this is gonna be one of those, like it shows up and I'm gonna just dive right in. The next book is The Night Shift, and this is by Natalka Burian. So not to be confused with The Night Shift by Alex Finley, but just a book with the same name. And this one, again, randomly came across it in my research, and I am super intrigued. And I feel like this isn't totally an Audrey book kind of out of the gate, yet I'm totally curious about it. And one of the things that grabbed me is Emma Straub wrote a quote about it. And she said, for readers who love New York City after dark and who see mysterious possibilities around every corner. So I talked about the New York City After Dark when I had quoted that line from Gone Girl, and I feel like that's just been stuck in my head since I did that. So anyway, that grabbed my attention. But this one says, only by traveling into the past can Jean discover a happy future. Hidden behind back doors of bars and restaurants and theaters and shops all over New York City are shortcuts. Secret passageways that allow you to jump through time and space to emerge in different parts of the city. How cool is that? No one knows where they came from, but there are rules. You can only travel through them one way and only at night. When Jean's work friend Iggy introduces her to the shortcuts, it's to help shorten her commute between her night shifts bartending and her work at an upscale bakery. Jean is intrigued but has a hard time shaking the side effects. The shortcuts make her more talkative, more open to discussing her past and recalling memories she's tried hard to forget. And then Iggy goes missing. Jean believes it's related to the shortcuts and his growing obsession with them. But as she starts digging into their origins, she comes to find a strange connection between herself and the shortcuts. So it says, a shimmering, propulsive novel set in New York City during the early aughts and across time. The night shift shows that by confronting the past, we can reshape our future. So definitely sci-fi fantasy twist to it all, but grounded in New York City. And I love, this is nothing like, but reminds me of Lore by Alexandra Bracken, where it's set in New York City and grounded in the real New York City, but it's this whole fantastical story that takes place there. So having those two worlds coexist rather than being like a complete fantasy life, I don't know, I'm just really, really interested in this book. It just sounds very interesting. And it might also be the kind of where I am in my life type of a thing, my phase, my season that I'm in. But the idea of confronting your past to shape your future, I don't know, it all just totally appeals to me. So let me know if you guys have heard of this one at all, but I'm definitely really intrigued by it. It just sounds very cool. And I love that concept. If anyone else who like has lived or worked in New York City, imagine being able to just go through a shortcut to get from like uptown to downtown or vice versa. My gosh. The amount of time I spent waiting for cabs, sitting in traffic, waiting for subways, stuck on a subway. If I could have just gone through a shortcut, life would have been way quicker when I was there. July 19th. Next up is one of my most anticipated books of the year, which I've already talked about a bunch of times because I got an arc of it and I've read it, and it's Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. I will continue to shout about her, and I will shout about this book, you guys. So I know it came out in June for Book of the Month, but it officially releases in July, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Jennifer Hillier is one of my most favorite people. She's one of my most favorite authors, and I really enjoyed the dark and messed upness that she does in this book. So this one has a podcast vibe to it. We have mysteries in past and present. We have multiple POVs, and we have some just richly dark characters who are intent on keeping some secrets. So as with all thrillers, particularly ones that I have read so I can tell you this, go into it blind, go into it blind. I did not know too much about this book when I went into it, and I was very glad because as things started to unfold further into the book, I was surprised. I didn't know what was coming. I didn't have a lot of expectations. I would read one of her books just blank slate. Like if this was blank on the back, I'd be like, yep, just give it to me, I will read it. But what you should know about this book, for a little bit of context, for those who need a little something to get themselves jazzed up about it, this follows a woman named Paris Peralta. So she is arrested in her house, in her bathroom. She is standing next to her husband's dead body, covered in blood, him and her. She is holding a straight razor, and he's dead. He's big old dead. He's dead. And she winds up getting arrested, no surprise. And her husband is famous. He is a former comedian who was on a bit of a comeback trail, but when Paris met him, he was retired and sort of living very quietly, which was very appealing to her. Because for Paris, being arrested for her husband's murder is not the bad part. The bad part is if there's publicity around it and people find out her secrets and who she really is. That's what she's afraid of. So this is a book about secrets and lies and things we do in the dark, and I very much enjoyed it. And I definitely feel like this is one of those books where we're on a journey alongside our characters as things start to unfold, and I really loved it. I think she writes beautifully messy, complex female characters, male characters as well, but focusing on her female characters, people who don't always make the right choices, people who have to live with the consequences of their choices. people who are gritty and are there to survive and will stop at nothing, and there is humanity to them and you are cheering for them. But I feel like she brings such, even though I'm talking about a woman who is arrested for murdering her husband, I feel like there is some real relatability in her characters, and I think she infuses them with elements that we can relate to, even though we're not in that particular situation, I would hope. But I just very much enjoyed it. She did not have a book come out last year because she was working on this one, so I was like super, kind of very much like Ruth Ware, extra chomping at the bit for it, and she did not disappoint in any way. So I love me some dark past, I love some hidden secrets, I love complicated characters, and I just loved it so, so much. So you don't have to read So I was distracted by the outside world, but long story short, love this book, love Jennifer Hillier. If you have not already read any of her books, this is a perfect place to start, and I just think you will be hooked on her writing. So I have talked about all of her books a whole bunch. Jar of Hearts was the first of her books that I read, and I absolutely loved it. It is still my favorite. I think it is her darkest, most messed up of them all. But if you are looking for a way into her, you can start here, you can start there, you can kind of start anywhere. But I will be doing a full-blown Jennifer Hillier author spotlight in July to sort of celebrate when this book comes out. So that will be coming with more kind of info about all of her books that I'll put all in one place for you guys to keep it easy. But long story short, she's one of my most favorite authors, and I am so, so, so excited that she had a book come out this year. Next up is The Retreat by Sarah Pierce. So I read The Sanatorium last year and I loved it. It's over here, it's turned backwards because it has the painted edges, which I absolutely love. But this is actually book 2 in a series. So we met Detective Ellen Warner in book number 1, and she continues to be the lead character in this book. And in this one, we have the truth behind the suspicious deaths on a stunning island getaway. So most are here to recharge and refresh, but someone's here for revenge. So sweet, sweet Detective Ellen, who really went through it in the sanatorium, apparently is looking for an eco-wellness retreat. And it sounds like there is not any relaxation that's about to happen. There was a Kate White book back in the Bailey Wagon series where it was like the same thing. She went to like this opening of a spa to relax and unwind and all the things, and like somebody got murdered. So in this one, it is on an island off the English coast, and it promises rest and relaxation. Oh girl, it's not gonna happen. But the island itself, known locally as Reaper's Rock, has a dark past. You think, with that kind of a name? Once the playground of a serial killer, it's rumored to be cursed. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So Ellen Warren is called to the retreat. Oh, okay, she's not there to relax, my bad. She's called to the retreat when a young woman's body is found on the rocks below the yoga pavilion in what seems to be a tragic fall. But the victim wasn't a guest. She wasn't meant to be on the island at all. When a guest drowns in a diving incident the following day, Ellen starts to suspect that there's really nothing accidental about these deaths. How very, and then there were none. But why would someone target the guests, and who else is in danger? Ellen must find the killer before the island's history starts to repeat itself. So, do we have a new serial killer? Is it haunted? What's happening here? I'm very excited to find out. I very much enjoyed The Sanatorium. It was very slow burn. It was very character-driven mystery. I definitely was creeped out by the killer's ensemble that was going on. You know about it early on in the book, but even so. I thought it was like very creepy and well done, and I was totally here for it. So I'm very excited for this one. This is definitely a case, I'm guessing you should read book number 1 first, because I'm sure there's gonna be some mentions back, but I will let you know after I read it. I haven't read this one yet. I did pre-order it, so it will be coming when it releases. And when I read it, I will obviously let you guys know, because that's what we do here. So quick shout out to The Swell by Ali Reynolds. This came out in the UK in June as The Bay. My pre-order is officially in the mail at the time that I am filming this. She wrote Shiver, which I devoured and am still obsessed with, so I am very excited for this book. So quick blurb from Goodreads. It says Point Break meets And Then There Were None, in a pulse-pounding beach read that explores the dangerous ties between a group of elite surfers who are determined to find the perfect waves at any cost, even murder. The waves are to die for. So this one takes place in Australia, and we have a woman named Kenna. So it says 3 years ago, Kenna lost her 2 great loves. After her boyfriend drowned, she hung up her surfboard and swore off the water for good. But she's drawn back to the beach when her best friend Mickey announces her sudden engagement to a man Kenna has never met, a member of a tight-knit group of surfers. So Kenna kind of winds up traveling to Australia. She sort of like infiltrates this group of people and kind of hijacks their vacation, kind of third wheel, fourth wheel, fifth wheels it all. And those other surfers are not totally jazzed about it, but off they go. And it sounds like really bad, messed up things start to happen. So, you know, I'm totally there for it. So Shiver was absolutely great. That was snowboarding. It was dual timelines, mysteries in the past, mysteries in the present. I thought it was so well done. I loved all the characters in that book. I was like, totally in for it. So I'm very excited to see this follow-up, read this follow-up, not just see it, actually read it. So coming out in the US now for anyone who is waiting for it. So the next book I have is The Work Wife, and this is by Allison B. Hart. This is super random, came across my radar when I was researching. This cover is giving me rebranded Taylor Jenkins Reid cover vibes. So like the Carrie Soto in the UK, they're reprinting all the covers of her books and they totally look like this. So when I first saw it, I was like, wait, what? No, who? So anyway, read the blurb on it and I'm intrigued by it. So this is about a woman named, I don't know if it's Zane, Z-A-N-N-E. I don't know if it's Zane or Zanny. It's gotta be Zane, right? Says she never planned to be a personal assistant to Hollywood royalty Ted and Holly Stabler. But a decade in, at 38, that's exactly how she spends her days, earning 6 figures to make sure the movie mogul and his family have everything they could ever dream of and more. However, today is no ordinary day at the Stabler estate. Is anyone else thinking Elliot Stabler from SVU? That's all I'm thinking of is him. Tonight, everyone who's anyone will be there for the Hollywood event of the season, and if the party's a success, the chief of staff job Zane's been chasing may soon be hers, which means she can buy a house, give her girlfriend the life she deserves, and pay off her student loans. Nothing is going to get in her way. So then Ted's former business partner, Phoebe Lee, unexpectedly shows up right before go time, and we have a catastrophe unfolding, and Zane is going to do everything she can to prevent it from happening. So it says, as the truth comes out and Zane realizes how deeply entangled she's become in the Stabler's world, she must decide if the sacrifices she's made for this job are worth the moral price she has to pay. So this takes place over the course of a single day, told from 3 different perspectives. And it says it's a richly observed novel about female ambition, complicity, privilege, and what happens when the brightest of stars aren't allowed to shine. So I am just very intrigued by this. I don't know if anybody else has read this before or has heard of this book. Allison B. Hart is a new to me author. This is her first novel, but she's got some other stuff cooking. So I'm definitely intrigued. I love me some female ambition. I love me some Hollywood vibes. Give me some maybe inside baseball of Hollywood. It just sounds like a great compulsive summer read. So I will be checking it out for sure. July 21st, The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell comes out in the UK. So this comes out in the US in August. And this is book number 2 in the Family Upstairs series. So I read The Family Upstairs a couple months ago for Booklist Backlist and I loved it. I'm a huge Lisa Jewell fan, you guys know. This is also a book, you can't read it until you read The Family Upstairs because A, it's not gonna make any sense, and even reading the blurb of this is gonna ruin stuff, so I'm not gonna ruin stuff for you guys. But I totally enjoyed The Family Upstairs, which is multiple timelines, multiple points of view, takes place in London, and there was this mystery that happened at this house where 3 bodies were found in the kitchen. They were all dressed in black robes. There was a newborn baby found upstairs, crying, healthy, alive, and everyone else who was rumored to have lived in the house disappeared. And the police never figured out what happened that day. And in that book, we resolve the things. So this book picks up somewhere where that left off, but brings in new characters, new mysteries, and I am so excited for it. So again, I can't say anything about it because it's just gonna give stuff away, but there are continuing mysteries, more answers to be found, more people looking for answers, and I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen because The Family Upstairs, well, it answered questions. I don't think it was conceived to be a sequel, And I always wonder about authors. Sometimes I feel like they intentionally leave a door open because maybe they want to come back and revisit people. Sometimes they are just done with it completely. And other times it's absolutely conceived as a multi-book series. I don't know that Lisa Jewell planned to write more from the family upstairs, but there was enough openness that allowed for a way back into it. So let's be vague. I'm really, really excited for this one. And reading The Family Upstairs definitely reignited my love for Lisa Jewell because I read a whole bunch of her books and then I slept on her. So I am back to being a bit obsessed with her and I'm gonna read it and I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for this. I'm almost glad that I waited to read The Family Upstairs because I feel like I'm so buzzed about it now that I'm even more jazzed for this one. July 26th. The next book I have is The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. I'll be honest, I have not read a Megan Miranda in a while. I definitely feel like I've been sleeping on her. I have not stopped buying her books. Just haven't been so spectacular about actually picking them up. But I always enjoy her books, and this one, of course, just sounds interesting to me, so we're gonna talk about it. So in this one, it says the book opens with the disappearance of a journalist who's investigating a string of vanishings in the resort town of Cutter's Pass. It says, will its dark secrets finally be revealed? So 10 years ago, we have a woman named Abigail. She fell into a job that she loves, managing the Passage Inn, a cozy upscale resort nestled in the North Carolina mountain town of Cutter's Pass. It's best known for its outdoor offerings, rafting and hiking, access to the Appalachian Trail by the way of a gorgeous waterfall, and its mysterious history. So when the journalist Landon goes missing, it says that the town is once again thrust into the spotlight. It's been haunted by a string of unsolved disappearances in the past, and now everybody's got eyes on Cutter's Past. I keep calling it Cutter's Past. Cutter's Pass. Why can't I speak? So Abby has sometimes felt like an outsider within the community that she's started to view as home, but when Landon's brother Trey shows up looking for answers, Abby can't help but feel the town closing ranks, and she's still on the outside. When she finds incriminating evidence that may bring them closer to the truth, Abby soon discovers how little she knows about her coworkers, her neighbors, and even those closest to her. So, disappearing people, journalists, brothers coming to town. Abby is like in it, but not really in it. So I'm guessing her and Trey are going to investigate together. And it sounds like the town does not want them to find out what all is going on. So I'm really curious. I'm really, really curious. And I am reading the blurb from this one on Goodreads. I'm sure you guys already do this already, but I will just like PSA for half a minute. There are so many good giveaways on Goodreads for all of these books. This book in particular has a giveaway. So definitely check those out because you never know. I've actually won 2 of them this year after not winning anything for like 2 years. So I just feel like you never know. I feel like it's like that lotto commercial. Yeah, like you have to play to win or you have to be in it to win it or whatever it is. But in case anybody's looking for a way to try and get some free books, tons of Goodreads giveaways. So that's gonna do it for July. Got it right at the end here, you guys. But again, so many authors that I love, Lisa Jewell and Ruth Ware and Allie Reynolds and Sarah Pierce and Jennifer Hillier and just like all the books and all the people. And then some new to me authors, which I'm also excited about. But you know the drill. Let me know what book you're most excited about. Let me know what I missed and didn't talk about today. And I will keep updating next month. I don't know why I'm dancing like a weirdo. I will let you guys know what's coming out in August. I keep saying one of my most anticipated books. August, Ashley Winstead's new book is coming out. One of my most anticipated books of the year. But I'm just like drowning in how many great books are coming our way. But like I said, let me know what you're most excited about. Let me know if you've had a chance to read any of these and what you thought of them. Let me know whatever you guys want to let me know down below. But thanks so much for hanging out today, spending part of your day with me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in another video really soon. Bye everybody.